Good morning all for Thursday the 15th of September. So for the first time in a while, we're introducing a northerly flow over the UK, and that's thanks to a low pressure which is centred over Scandinavia at the moment. You can see not too much in the way of fronts, though at the moment we do seem to have a lot more cloud than we were perhaps expecting first thing this morning. That northerly wind, as you can see on here, starting to get a bit more west in it for the first time in a while, and that generally across our region is going to be between 10 to 15 knots at flying heights. Public forecast is predicting a slightly cloudier day than initially thought, with a top temperature of a chilly 16 degrees. That wind becoming more northwesterly through the day, with surface winds of around 5 to 10 knots, reasonable visibility. But if you look at those field light temperatures, yeah, you're going to want a jumper. It's not going to be a sparkly warm day today. GFS predicts if we get a little bit more sunshine on the ground, we'll see 18 degrees and 7 degrees in the dew point. So let's have a look at the satellite picture at the moment and how it's differing from the model. So the model was predicting that there'll be a bit more blue sky by now, but it does appear to be that we have a fair amount of cloud under this.
How was your Airbnb?
I'm on briefing, Andy. Yeah, we do have a bit of wave interference coming across from Wales. And it does appear to be a fair amount of cloud across the country at the moment. Hopefully, it looks like there are small breaks coming through just north of the Cotswold edge up towards Birmingham. But yeah, it might take a little while to clear. And yeah, it might be a little bit more cloudy than we were expecting. We've got a temperature of 12.6 at the moment, definitely quite chilly, and dew point of 9. I know tonight it's going to get quite cold, and there's even talk of some sort of rural frosts at some point over the next week or so. Picture outside, well, it's fairly cloudy. Cloud base is not an issue, but yeah, it's just overcast. It's at around 4,500 feet at the moment, and the TAF for today is showing scattered at 3.5 most of the day with that northwesterly wind. So onto the models then, and just taking into account that they were predicting, they were predicting at this time of the morning we would have, yeah, the odd bit of thin high level cloud, but as you can see, this was predicting we were going to have a fairly blue start, which we do not at the moment. So just bear in mind as this model runs through that that is what is the case. So this afternoon, assuming it does brighten up, then we should see reasonable cloud bases of around 4 to 4,500 feet. Does sort of a bit thicker cloud up towards Oxford later in the day, but reasonable out to the west and just to the north of us for most of the day. But at this time of year, of course, the cut-off period is quite early. So by 5 o'clock, it looks like it'll be unsawable or getting to that point. Cloud distribution, as you can see, assuming that we get rid of this overcast, we should get some reasonable cumulus under it, but I think it's going to take a lot longer and be a bit weaker than what it says. Site forecast is similar, 2-knot climbs, but yeah, does not show that this initial cloud. So hopefully it burns off a lot quicker than it appears to be, because it's quite setting at the moment. Sky sites, not much different actually. I was hoping that maybe it might model the cloud a bit better, but it doesn't seem to. So as you can see on here, it's showing the cumulus building after lunch, but doesn't seem to suggest when this cloud cover is going to go away. It does show maybe a little bit more realistic thermal heights of more like 3.5 to 4,000 feet. But yeah, your best area still out to the west, really. It does seem to break down to the north later in the day. Over development wise, well, it's already sort of there, so it doesn't need to really overdevelop as such. And convergence, nothing particularly organised today, but you never know, on the south coast of a northerly wind you might get something. The wind's a little bit too far west for the ridge at Parham to work, but there might be some days coming up where that might be possible. So yeah, on the whole, hopefully this cloud clears and we should get a good day, but the next few days look reasonable as well. So make the most of this last bit of the September soaring. Okay, on to airspace, and not too much in the way. Good with Revival is starting up, and I can see there's a NOTAM in place today from 4 till 8 of an air display. So just make sure you're giving that a reasonable berth. Salisbury Plain active. I can see there's paragliders operating at Westbury. Nice folks on at Keevil. 26. Some more sort of paragliding going on near Hungerford. 35. Not relevant. Restricted area temporaries in place close to London, near Kenley, whilst the state morning's in progress. And as Colin and I will keep reminding you, there could be last minute airspace that pops up over the next few days and into the weekend. And although we're not flying on Monday, there may be a good reason for that if more airspace comes in. So yeah. Operationally today we're using runway 27 and we have a King Air which is due out, hopefully if it's fixed, around 1 to 2 o'clock. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I will see you on the airport shortly. Bye for now.